The Disney stock continues to drop, and Bob Iger is looking for some way to stop the pain. Now he's worried perhaps about a hostile takeover, maybe another proxy battle, and even Elon Musk with Gina Carano riding in to devastate Disney. So what is the company to do? Well, we'll tell you the extraordinary lengths they're going to protect their power over at the House of Mouse. Well, folks, we are back, and you are back at the place where we explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve, and we are overjoyed to be joined by one of the fan favorites of the entire channel. The man, the myth, the legend, the Mexican Iron Man has returned. Mike, how are you?
Oh, me. Hi. Hi, everybody.
Now, folks, you may love Mexican Iron Man for his wonderful YouTube rants, although he is not a YouTuber, according to him. Maybe a noob-tuber, I don't know, but Mike is actually quite the financial whiz and has all kinds of expertise in everything to do with corporate finances. And so, Mike, if it's okay with you, I'd like to pick your brain, and then we'll entertain and educate the folks out there as we go through Disney on defense. Let's hop straight to it with this. Mike, this is an article out of Deadline. It's been out for a few days, but there's just been so much news that we have not yet had a chance to get to this. And now pieces are beginning to come together such that, well, this makes much more sense. This is an article, again, out of Deadline. Dade Hayes is the author. Oracle CEO Safra Catz exits Disney board after 6-year stint. Now, folks, as shocking as it might be, the headline is not the headline, if you get my drift. Here's what it says. Oracle CEO Safra Catz, who began serving on Disney's board of directors in 2018, is exiting her board post. Here is the actual story that we care so deeply about. And by the way, she is leaving likely because her company is going to have perhaps a conflict of interest with Skydance. We'll leave that alone. That's a story for another day, if ever. No official reason was given for the move. This is the headline, which the company said would result in the board shrinking from 12 members to 11. Now, again, this is what they say is the big news. This is the real big news. And the company, by the way, is Disney. So yet again, Mike, the Walt Disney Company shrinking its board from 12 to 11. Now, they could have filled this board seat. There's no reason for them to shrink down to 11, except that this may block efforts by Elon Musk, Nelson Peltz, or anyone else to come in there as the stock goes down to wage one last proxy fight. And oh, by the way, they probably have one last proxy fight to try to block Iger's succession plan. Mike, what I wanted to have you on for today is, could you tell the audience out there, is it common for a major global corporation, a company such as Disney, sort of an exemplar across all of the entertainment industry, to shake up its board like this over and over and over every year, changing the number of board seats? Okay, walk us through why this is weird.
No, there's at least two reasons, possibly a third, that this is weird. Well, first of all, let's deal with the base thing that you observed, which is that, didn't we just add a seat? Remember that? We added a seat. Remember that?
Yeah, it's like musical chairs over there, Mike. It's two up, one down, three down, two up. You just never know what they're going to have.
Right. Normally, the way a board is structured is you have a set number of board of directors, and then these directors sit on various committees that are empowered to provide governance over the corporation. The fact that they change the number of seats means that they're trying to control and consolidate the voting power of the board and have fewer seats that they can control versus more seats that they might not be able to control. And as we will recall, Pro aptly covered on this channel as well as many others, that when Nilsson made his run at the board, he was running for a couple different seats, and this was one of them that he wanted, if you recall. So I think it's very dubious that we're reducing the number of seats, because essentially Bob Iger is trying to play musical chairs where he controls the chairs, controls the music, and when it starts and stops.
And is it fair to say, Mike, that this indicates they're worried about another proxy battle?
I absolutely think that's the case. The second thing that has bothered me about this company for a long time is the tenure of the people that are on this board. We could bring it up now on screen. You could add it. We could bring the ad cards up later. But if you look at who's on the board, All of these people are recent to Disney. And when you're dealing with a company that's what now, 100 years old this year, Pro, right?
Yes.
You want longevity. You want institutional knowledge. Now, I'm not saying we're going to find anybody that's been around for 100 years, but we at least want somebody. That's what I was talking about. Perfect. Great timing, Pro. When we look at the people that are on that, we just look. Top right, Jeremy, 2024. Amy, 2021. Right? These are all people. Carolyn Everson, 2022. James Gorman, 2024. You see the pattern that's emerging, Pro? The pattern that emerges very quickly is that we don't have institutional knowledge. I mean, we've got what, Maria Elena Logomasino at what, 20, I think that's 2015.
Right? And let's say this too, Mike, because folks out there who are just catching this channel and seeing what we're talking about, they might not know that Bob Iger number there is very misleading, because Bob Iger has been with the company forever. He took over as director when he came back again, but he's been involved with the board.
But even that,
he's the only one.
I hear what you're saying, but even that speaks to what I'm talking about.
Yes, that's the point.
About the turnover. I think the funny thing is that when you see Bob Iger there since 2022, that means he left and he wasn't empowered, even though we know that he really was. And now he's back. Carolyn Everson, 2022. James Gorman, 2024. What institutional knowledge or expertise are any of these people bringing in terms of how the business should run? None. Now, the average S&P director serves for 8 years on average, okay? So some people could bounce back at me and say, well, Mexican Iron Man, who cares? The average tenure of the average company is only 7.8 years, which is true. The average S&P is 500. But that is a very misleading statistic, because there's a lot of companies that are in that S&P index, in that report, that are young companies that have only been around. They've only been publicly traded, Pro, for what? For 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. They're babies. They're literally financial babies in the public stock market. When you have a company like Disney, you don't want people that have only been there 1, 2, 3, 4 years. You want people that have some stewardship to the mission, the vision, the values of this company, and how it should operate in terms of implementing that mission vision that was originally Walt's. And so when you have all these green newbies coming, what do you think is going to happen? We're going to get the Disney that we've got today. We don't have any stewardship, and now we're reducing seats. This entire board, because of what you just observed, that Bob Iger's been there forever.
Let me say this, Mike. Bob Iger's been there since 1996. That's why that number's so misleading. He's been on the board since 1996. He's been the CEO for decades. He took basically a 6-month hiatus so that he could take out poor Bob Chapek, and he came back to the board. This board is a rotating group of musical chairs, only there to support whatever Bob Iger wants, because he is Bob Almighty.
I agree. And if what we see on this board is, we see that the people that are on it have essentially been placed there around him, essentially as to protect him, almost like he's in the middle and he's got to get people around him that are going to be yes men and yes women. I think it's despicable. This is no way to run a company. And the fact that they're both A, playing with the number of chairs on a year-to-year basis, and B, putting people in those chairs that have such little experience at Disney in particular, this company can't be saved. There are no stewards at the helm of this ship with the institutional longevity to provide objective analysis as to how this company should be run.
And yet the news media does not understand this, Mike. And we're not going to pick on this website. This is out of Comics Beat. And Comics Beat, we will try to get another article in the future that we can be positive about, we promise. But it's by Humberto Saavedra. Let's see. No, I'm sorry. That may not be a Latino name. We'll go with this. Saavedra. Okay. Well, we've got double A's there. Double A's. Doble. All right. Ike Perlmutter's failed Disney board fight leads to stake dump worth billions. Folks, we're not going to go deep into this article. I just want to say this is the way that it's being portrayed across much of the web, is that Nelson Peltz and Ike Perlmutter were defeated, and Elon Musk as well. But Mike, that is definitely not the case, and it's just logically and economically untrue. Here's what's happened. The Walt Disney stock, as of a closing, is hovering around the $90 mark. That is way, way down. Disney at one point was even tickling 200 under the stewardship of Bob Chapek. Now the company down at that area. It's been dropping and dropping, and both Nelson Peltz and Ike Perlmutter divested themselves of Disney as best we know. They divested completely as best we know, and they did so at a time when the stock was much higher. The stock is now dropping, and at least with Ike Perlmutter, he's saying that he will buy back in, he being one of the biggest individual owners of Disney in the past. He's saying that he'll buy back in if the stock gets down in the 75 to 85 range. In other words, these guys predicted rightly that the stock would collapse, and now they're waiting for the bottom of the barrel to get back in and fight again, and the media doesn't understand it, Mike. What say you?
Well, I think the media doesn't understand a lot about Disney, because those of us that follow Disney on this channel and others Pro know three things. We know that the TV offerings through Lucasfilm, Disney Plus, all the Acolyte, all that stuff they put on Disney Plus. We know that the broadcast offerings on Disney Plus are weak and below standard. We know that in the TV realm, we know that their ESPN Sports Network is woke and increasingly less the go-to for sports knowledge. The second thing we know is that the vast of the movies that they control and they helm, from the Disney Inside Out, and Deadpool might be exceptions to this, but overwhelmingly the movies that Disney puts out have been failures time and time again. And let's be honest, Inside Out is kind of a fluke, and Deadpool is really a Fox project that was approved by Chapek and spearheaded by Reynolds' own production company. So I don't know if we can really.
It's not only that, Mike, and that's a perfect segue. But it's not only that; it's that Deadpool and Wolverine is anti-woke. I mean, it is literally that movie. And folks, I don't want to spoil this for you. But, put your fingers in your ears for 15 seconds if you've not seen the movie yet. But they make fun of Disney. They mock Marvel. They take on the woke culture. Deadpool comes out and says he's gender blind. They talk about how Wolverine is coming in at a low point, and it seems like they have figured out that Disney is to be ridiculed. Now, Star Wars, Lucasfilm, Pixar, Disney Animation, you can look at the vast majority of the company, and it's still ideologically captured. But Marvel seems to be getting the idea, and this is what I'm talking about, Mike. And this may be Disney on the defense, getting ready to make some sort of pivot. They might not believe in the pivot, but they have to get away from a market that is condemning them. Kevin Feige says the mutant era of the MCU starts now. Deadpool and Wolverine is the beginning, and every movie after will be the mutant era coming to the MCU. And I have heard for a very long time and reported for a very long time, and I stake my track record on it, that Hugh Jackman was not signed to simply Deadpool and Wolverine, and that he's on a multi-movie deal. That's not all, Mike, and this may have something to do. I think that Disney is trying to defend themselves with that board seat. They're trying to eliminate that board seat long enough to get themselves righted enough to survive this thing. And this is what I'm talking about. If we go to Deadline, this by Justin Kroll. Russo brothers make big return to Marvel as they eye upcoming Avengers sequels. It says, as it puts the final touches on its big Hall H presentation, and that's for this weekend's Comic-Con, Marvel Studios looks to have already made plans to bring back its largest grossing directing duo in a big way. Now, Disney didn't want to do this originally, Mike. They didn't want to bring back the Russo brothers because the Russo brothers cost a lot, and the Russo brothers are not necessarily woke, but they have been turned into a joke, that being Disney, and they've got to turn this thing around. So 2 turns left, and here we go. They're bringing back the Russo brothers. And oh, by the way, Mike, here's an exclusive for you and for the audience out there. I finally can say that I believe, it's a rumor, it's speculation, but it comes from now 2 sources I've got, that RDJ, Robert Downey Jr., is connected with these talks with the Russo brothers. And what that tells me, Mike, is this is a Disney, this is a Marvel ready to spend big on unwoke content. It's the only division of Disney I see so far ready to do this. But Kevin Feige may have finally seen the light, and they may be willing to spend big to get out of this situation. Mike, if Marvel shines the way forward, if they actually do this, and Deadpool and Wolverine is very anti-woke, if they do this, do you think that the rest of Disney might go with them, or do you think this is a company that is so ideologically captured at this point that they are stuck in the muck of woke?
I think they're completely stuck in the muck of woke, and I don't believe that this company is going to pivot to follow Marvel. I think what's happening in Marvel as a business unit is one thing. We've still got Lucasfilm, which has showed no indications, no.
They've doubled down. They're terrible.
Right. And if you look at the rest of the corporation, Disney, with what we've seen exposed from Film Threats, Disney filed, as well as The other files that O'Keefe has dropped, no way. This company is way too far, and not going to pivot. But these movies do need to pivot because they're a drain on cash. You cannot keep spending 100, 200, 300 million dollars and just breaking even or losing money. The parks are down, and that was going to be my third point, is that they've got problems in TV, including streaming. They've got problems in movies, and they've got problems in the parks, which you've aptly documented over the last several years. That's overwhelming. And with the directors that they have on board, they're going to need more than a Marvel pivot. They're going to need more than a Marvel pivot to save this company. And if they're going to have fewer chairs, they better sure as heck start putting people in that chair, in those chairs, that know what they're doing and can advise Iger and hold Iger accountable for what's not being done at this company.
Well, let me ask you this as we head out, Mike. Final question to you. It seems to me that there is a potential for a sea change in the way that the culture is taking on these ideas that we've been dealing with since 2016. That being, if we wanted to properly classify it, I call it woke, but what it really is postmodern, neo-Marxist, post-truth ideology. It's the idea of going back to tribalism, right? The way you were born is who you are, and that's the most important thing about you. It's equity over equality. It is no longer objective truth, but your subjective opinion, and use that subjective narrative to drive your own place in life, right? That's power. Unbridled power is the goal, and that is achieved through tribalism. Mike, it seems to me that the society that we're watching, especially in this political environment, is on the precipice of being ready to throw that to the side completely. And that's going to put Disney in a really strange place. So do you think, that was a large setup for this question. Do you think that the market is so powerfully against what Disney has been doing that they will be forced by investors via either a proxy battle that wins this time or even a hostile takeover to get them back into the right direction? Do you think that in other words, are the odds so stacked up against Disney being able to stay woke that there's a glimmer of hope? Is that, what do you think of it?
I don't have a glimmer of hope. You might. I don't. Because
what if Elon comes in, Mike? What if he comes in on a white stallion?
180 billion? Who's coming in?
A Tesla stallion, a battery-powered stallion, baby.
No, I think right now Elon is so upset over what companies like Disney did to his kid, and with what he's doing with Gina, he doesn't want to come to the table and fix. I think he wants to see Disney suffer, and he wants to see Bob Iger's legacy destroyed. The last thing he's going to do is come in while Iger's there.
Did you see the tweet that Elon put out, Mike?
Which one?
Oh, just the one where Elon comes. Here, you know what? I'll show it to you. I've got this ready to go for a different story. But here you go, folks. Here's bonus. This is bonus content for all of you out there.
That. Yeah, of course.
Amazing. Elon Musk comes in and says the discovery in this case will be devastating for the woke mind virus.
Yeah, the woke mind virus that controls Disney. That's why I have no ray of hope. And I don't think I think it's a dumb play. He doesn't want it. What do you think? Someone like him wants to control everything. He's not going to come in with a bunch of his money with Bob Iger sitting there as CEO. It's just not going to happen. Sometimes you have to break the horse before it will let you ride, Mike. Yeah, and I think he wants to see this one broken, completely broken.
I think he might. So, folks, you're hearing it here first. Marvel may be ready to make the switcheroo, but I have to agree with Mike. We are in agreement here, de acuerdo. It does not seem to me that the rest of the company is going to join the forces of Marvel. Maybe Kevin Feige is making the change, but if you've seen anything lately from Kathleen Kennedy or from Bob Iger, I am not positive that they will move in the right direction. Well, Mike, you're always moving in the right direction, and I know you are Mr. Humility, never a YouTuber, but you are a powerful force behind so many great YouTubers out there. I'm thinking of Doomcock, Overlord DVD, thinking of Midnight's Edge After Dark. Tell the folks out there a channel that you're enjoying right now, Mike.
This channel. Become a member today. This channel.
We're trying to be magnanimous and shine a light on someone else, Mike.
Membership has its privileges. Join today. I was involved in this channel before it ever went live, and I'm proud to be associated with it even now, and I'm even happier that I can be a member and enjoy the great content. Join today.
And we love Valiant Renegade, and we love Flash, and we'll keep going anyway. All right, folks, we hope you had a great time. If you did, consider clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Join the online community dialogue and waste not that beautiful mind that you have. All right, folks, we say sayonara for now, but we will see you again. 3 videos a day, every day, including the weekend. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Are you sick and tired of stuff being swept under the rug because you or the media are too lazy to actually deal with it? Or are things just building up around you so much that you can no longer ignore it? Also like the mainstream media? Well, I got the solution for you. I'm Wilton the Troll, and I want to tell you about this revolutionary new product called Jonas. That's right, no longer do you have to put up with stuff shoved under the rug. You can actually get rid of it and dispose of the problem in seconds by using Jonas. You can, in a matter of seconds, deal with the political and illogical buildup of the muck and grime around you effectively and efficiently with Jonas. You might think this is an ordinary vacuum, but you'd be wrong. You can clean up and remove from one end, but Jonas, he actually works from both ends. From the back end, Jonas can blow a whole bunch of hot air, and that's cool. Remember, folks, if you actually want to deal with the dirt and grime the mainstream media has been neglectful about, get Jonas, 'cause Jonas sucks.